Hi everyone, welcome back to Grounded Haven. Today I have an Azure Standard haul for you guys. Our last order was back in November of 2021, so it's been a little bit since we have placed an order. And I only had a couple of things that I really needed to stock up on, so it's just going to be a little bit of everything in this haul. Here is an overall look at everything we ordered. I did have two things that didn't ship because they were out of stock by the time I ordered. Let me start with the first thing here, which is 2 bags of the Azure Market all-purpose unbleached organic flour. So originally I had placed an order for a 50-pound bag. It wasn't the Azure Market brand, it was another one that I had ordered last time. But that one, by the time our truck left, was out of stock. I saw it in time to add 2 of these to my cart instead. So instead of the 50-pound bag, I just got 2 of these 10-pound bags because this brand is not quite as affordable. It's still a really good price for organic all-purpose flour, but it's just a tiny bit more expensive. So I only got 2 of the 10-pound bags, which unfortunately is the largest size that they have. I'm definitely learning that flour is one of the things that I have to stock up huge amounts of. The last time we placed our order in November, I did order a 50-pound bag and that is almost all gone. So it only takes us like 4 or 5 months to go through 50 pounds of flour because I make so many of our bread products from scratch. I'm kind of new to this process of like buying things in bulk, so I'm just slowly learning how quickly we go through things, and flour definitely for us is one of those things that I need to stock up on. So hopefully this 20 pounds of flour will get me through a few months, and then the next time we place an order, I'm gonna really make sure that the 50-pound bag is in stock so that we can grab one of those. Next, I have a few smaller bags of some dried goods. First, I have these raw sunflower seeds. I have a recipe for multigrain bread that I think I'm going to start making. I only did it once before and I need to work on it a little bit, but it does include a good amount of sunflower seeds, so I got a 5-pound bag of those. And I always just like to throw in nuts and seeds whenever we can because it's a really nice healthy fat and a good form of plant-based protein. Next, I have mushroom popcorn. The reason it's called mushroom popcorn is that all the popcorn pops into like that really rounded popcorn shape because I believe popcorn only pops in 2 different kinds of shapes. And for this popcorn, I'm planning on making caramel popcorn and also nacho cheese popcorn, so I did get this popcorn seasoning as well to go with it. My idea with that is that it's going to be kind of like the popcorn that you get in those like metal tins, especially like around the holidays, that have the butter and the nacho cheese and then the caramel. So I think that we can kind of recreate that at home, so I'm going to be trying that out. The last time I ordered popcorn, I got like the tricolor popcorn from Azure, and I do really like that one. We have maybe like a third or a half of our bag still left, and all of that popcorn does pop really well, but I just wanted to try this mushroom popcorn because I thought it'd be really fun to have that shape. I feel like that's the one that you get a lot if you like buy popcorn in the stores, like in bags. So I thought it'd be nice to try and recreate that at home. Here's a look at what the mushroom popcorn looks like once it is popped. I definitely wouldn't say that all of the pieces were that really round puffy shape. Maybe like 70% of them were. So I was a little disappointed about that. And one thing that was my fault, I realized that the seasoning that I bought, the nacho cheese seasoning, that is different from cheddar seasoning. I thought it was going to be a little bit more cheesy, but it kind of had more of like a spicy flavor to it, almost like taco seasoning, so that's my fault. Next time I'll have to order the white cheddar popcorn seasoning that I saw that they had. Next, I have a 5-pound bag of chickpeas. We don't go through quite as many chickpeas as we do with like black beans and pinto beans, so I only get a 5-pound bag of this, whereas for those other beans, I have bought them in 25-pound bags. But I think for the summer, I'm going to be making a lot of hummus because they're really good for like grilled veggie sandwiches and just for like quick snacks. So that's what I'm going to be using that for mostly. So for those other beans that I mentioned, the black beans and pinto beans that I've bought in my last 2 orders, we still have plenty of those. We're not going through them quite as quickly as I thought, but that's perfectly fine because those things will keep for a really long time. And I purposely bought more than we could eat in a few months because I am trying to save money by buying in bulk and just have like a nice medium to long-term storage of food. and that's kind of why I don't have like big quantities of things today, because the goal is not to keep buying things every month. I'm just trying to order enough of this stuff that we can get through maybe like half a year before having to reorder these things. So for now, I feel like we have a pretty good supply of bulk items that we eat through regularly, and now I am at the point where we just have to restock when we run out of our bulk goods. So that's pretty much it for the food. The rest is kind of like household or random. Well, I guess this is technically food. This is matcha powder. I haven't been having matcha tea for a while, and I was really excited to see that they had this. I haven't tried this brand before, but I saw that it was a pretty comparable price to what you would pay if you got this from Amazon, and the Amazon reviews were pretty good, so I wanted to try it out. It's opened because I actually opened it as soon as we got home because I was so excited to try it. I've really been wanting a matcha latte, so I made that as soon as we got home. If you've never heard of matcha tea before, it is a form of green tea, but it's not like typical tea where you are steeping the leaves. It's actually just very finely ground up leaves, so it is supposed to be a lot healthier and have a lot of different kinds of health benefits. I know that some people don't like matcha tea. They say that it tastes like drinking grass, but I disagree. I think it's really delicious, and I could have matcha everything. If you don't like the flavor though, you can always just add a little bit of sweetener, just add like a teaspoon of sugar and add some milk to it, and you can have a nice iced matcha latte, and it's really delicious that way. Matcha can be pretty pricey, but I thought that the price for this bag, I think it was 20 bucks, was a pretty decent price. It's not quite at like the highest quality, it's not ceremonial grade, but it's a pretty good quality for just drinking at home. So I actually had opened up the bag and transferred it to a mason jar so you can see what it looks like. It's just like a really fine green powder. You can see how vibrant that color is. That's a really good sign. If it's more of like a dull color, then it's not quite as nice. So this matcha looks pretty good. I have really been enjoying this matcha tea, and I have been making a lot of matcha lattes in the afternoon, so I thought I would just show you really quickly how I do that because it's a little bit of a special process. I am taking between half a teaspoon and 1 teaspoon of matcha powder depending on how strong you like your tea flavor, and I'm using a little bowl here instead of a mug because it has completely rounded edges that are going to make it easier to whisk this. So I've added just a couple of drops of hot water, and I am adding water just a couple of drops at a time in order to make this into kind of like a paste, and I'm whisking that powder to try and get all of those clumps out of there. It's a lot better to do this with just a little bit of liquid rather than doing it in a full 6 or 8 ounces because it's a lot easier to get those clumps out. So now with this small amount of liquid, I'm just going to start whisking like crazy. There are actually special matcha whisks that you can use. I don't know where mine is right now, so I'm just using a regular small whisk, and that works as well. And I'm really whisking this vigorously. This will get rid of any of the clumps so that everything is really nice and smooth, and so that you don't have any floating clumps of powder later on. And this also helps you to get a really nice frothy consistency as well. After I feel like the powder is mixed in very well, I can just add more hot water now and mix that up a bit, and then I can transfer it to my mug now that everything is nicely distributed. If you had tried to do this whisking in a mug, a lot of that powder would get stuck around the cracks of the mug, and you just don't end up with a really good texture. To make this into a latte, I am adding some sugar and milk. I'm using my vanilla sugar here for a little bit of an extra treat and boost of flavor. Matcha and vanilla go really well together, so in a lot of dessert recipes, you'll see people pair those two flavors together. And then I'm just adding some milk, and then you have a beautiful, delicious matcha latte. I just love that pretty green color, and it's the perfect thing for an afternoon drink. As you can see, the process for making matcha is a little bit different from regular tea and takes a little bit more work and care than just throwing a tea bag into your cup. But I really love that process. It really makes for a really therapeutic and relaxing routine. Next, I bought just a few packs of these muffin liners. I really like this brand. It's compostable, and even the packaging is recyclable, so I really like that. And I just got a 4-pack because it was a little bit cheaper, and these are pretty easy to just store the extras of. And I believe these were on sale too, so I just went ahead and got a few packs of those. Some other household stuff. I bought their dish soap because last time I bought their hand soap and it's working well for us, so I just decided to get some dish soap as well. And I got a full gallon of that because, I mean, we're going to use it, so might as well get it in a larger container for a little bit of a better price and also to reduce the number of plastic jugs that we need to buy. And dish soap is always one thing that is so annoying when you run out of. It's not something that like I ever want to run to the store for, so I like having a lot of it on hand. And the last thing is this laundry powder, which I have not tried before. I don't think I've ever even used laundry powder. I always just use liquid detergent, but I thought that this would be nice to try to reduce any plastic jugs that we use. This stuff is pretty concentrated. You only need 2 tablespoons, so I think this will last a long time. So that's it for today's Azure haul. If you guys are new to Azure and want to check it out, I have a link down below that you can click. And if you would like for me to try out any products before you buy it, just let me know, leave a comment down below. Azure has been generous enough to offer me a little bit of a monthly credit just to try new products to share with you guys. So I just like to pay it forward because it is because of all of you who are watching this video that they have been so generous with this. So just let me know if there's anything that you want me to try out and to report back on. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.